What's up, everybody? You are watching the Bama Insider Daily Recruiting Update. Today, we're going to be focusing on one player in particular, but we're going to cover really the world of recruiting. Andrew Bone, Trey Andy with you. We thank you guys for being here today. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe to our channel for all things BamaInsider.com. Andrew, a commitment may be announced this Thursday. It's Amari Niblack. This kid has been on the Alabama recruiting scene for a little bit now, but tell us how he got there and kind of the background on Amari Niblack.
Alabama fans, look away. Do not look at his ranking because, I know how Alabama fans are. You're going to be worried about 3-star and number 78 overall. Don't worry about that. Just trust me. Do not worry about his ranking. This is a kid who showed up at Alabama's camp on Monday. I think his profile page a few days ago showed 6'3", maybe 6'4", about 197 pounds. This was a update that was probably 2 years ago. He shows up in Tuscaloosa on Monday with 6'4" frame, 228 pounds, rock solid, worked out at a few different positions, worked out at wide receiver, worked out at tight end, worked out at outside linebacker. This is a very unique athlete. One of the descriptions that I had heard after he visited Tuscaloosa was this kid looked like Will Anderson showing up on campus. He just looked that good, that pretty of a prospect, and definitely somebody that has a lot of room to work with. So I don't think you should worry too much about his ranking. There's a lot of 5-stars, and I know people probably won't believe that, but there's a lot of 5-stars, and there's a lot of kids in the top 100 who are not takes for Alabama, who do not have a green light to commit to Alabama. This is a kid who has the green light to commit to Alabama after he showed up to camp, balled out, had a great performance, and he certainly moved up very high on Alabama's recruiting board. Not necessarily at a certain position, but just at the overall athlete position. That's probably where Alabama is going to recruit him for now. Just athlete. There's been a lot of guys throughout the years who Alabama have recruited strictly as an athlete. They're potentially going to play offense, maybe going to play defense. Think about people like Cyrus Jones. Who am I thinking of? Ardarius Stewart. Sorry. Trevon Diggs. All these guys were recruited as athletes. Get them on campus, kind of figure out what their best role is. And how they develop. And obviously those guys, found future homes. This is going to be kind of a similar situation. You recruit him as an athlete. You figure it out kind of once he gets on campus. But, this is certainly a guy that Alabama extremely high on. Now, this was one of the few camps that he attended. He hasn't really been to a lot of camps. Now, he's been participating in some 7-on-7 events with his 7-on-7 team throughout the summer. But this is one of the only camps, college camps that he's been to this year. So that's kind of why you don't see a ton of scholarship offers. You see he's going to be making a decision on Thursday between Indiana, Maryland, and Alabama fans say, well, surely it's Alabama if it's between those schools. But these are schools that have recruited him for a while. He's got relationships with. This was his first, or this was actually his second visit to Alabama. He visited Alabama back when he was in the 9th grade. So, came back to Tuscaloosa and picked up that offer. One thing I wouldn't worry about, who has offered him so far, because when Alabama offers you, that means something. It shouldn't matter who else has offered you at all. When Alabama, school that's won 6 national championships and has Nick Saban, and Nick Saban's out there evaluating you and says, you're good enough, you are somebody that we want, that should be all Alabama fans or anybody should even worry about. So this is a great football player, great athlete, somebody who's definitely shot up the recruiting boards and probably going to see his stock rise, at least in terms of his ranking over the next couple of months, because nobody really knew about him. He's played at a small school, just transferred to Lakewood School in St. Petersburg. So he's starting to get out. People are starting to see him. People are starting to be really impressed with this kid. So his stock's going to rise. If he commits to Alabama this week, obviously a lot more people are going to be paying attention to him and putting some more eyes on him than there were before.
Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a recruit by its number necessarily. We'll wait and see. That's definitely interesting after he goes to camp and, has some success to see him get this offer and have the potential to commit here. You said some other schools were in the mix. Kind of go into that a little bit further and maybe really pinpoint when we see him making this commitment.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to commit on Thursday. Not sure what time. I had a chance to talk to him a little bit on Tuesday. I was trying to think of what day it was, but yeah, days are getting all confusing because there's just so many camps and kids coming into town. But yeah, he's going to make a decision on Thursday. Like I said, not sure what time just yet, but it's Alabama, Indiana, and Maryland. He said those are his top three schools. Now he has a lot of other offers. He just hasn't he really visited any other places. Has the Florida State offers. Received an offer from Georgia earlier this spring. LSU. A lot of these schools have offered him, but I think at the same time, a lot of them probably were hoping that he came to camp. He just didn't go to really any camps. Didn't really go anywhere, but came up to Alabama. Really blew the coaching staff away by his performance, and I think that he's certainly a guy that Alabama wants, and I think Alabama's got a great chance to get him. I put in a future cast on Rivals in favor of Alabama, so we'll see what happens.
Guys, go check out that future cast, the rest of Andrew Bone's work at BamaInsider.com. You can find all of it there. Recruiting big boards, a lot to check out right now. You said, this is an athlete. This is maybe a player that they kind of figure it out once he gets to campus. But, what's the mindset for Alabama right now? Where do you think they see him fit, onto this roster? And, what do you think he prefers to play at Alabama?
Well, I think he likes offense. I think he, just based on his film, I think he really, likes to catch football, likes to score touchdowns and get open, and it seems like he likes to block a little bit as well. So I think he would probably prefer playing offense, but at the same time, he seems to be open to playing other positions. I don't think he's going to end up being a receiver in college. I mean, he's 6'4", 228 pounds right now, going into his senior year of high school. So we could easily see him get up to 245, 250, maybe even 260 by the time he gets to Tuscaloosa. So does he potentially play? Look at that difference right there. I mean, you see he's a lot bigger than the other picture in that photo right there. So this is a kid who's continuing to develop, continuing to grow. So we'll see over the course of the next couple of years exactly how big he's going to get. But if he ends up choosing Alabama, I could easily see him potentially playing on the offense, but could easily see him on defense. I mean, like I said, I think Alabama saw a Will Anderson clone when he arrived in Tuscaloosa on Monday. That's when those are the descriptions that I kept hearing was Will Anderson. But so we'll see how much he develops over the course of the next couple of years, and see if he ends up being on the offensive or the defensive side of the ball. But like I said, I think he's pretty open to playing wherever he feels like he can best help the team, and obviously best help himself for his future. Everybody I talk to, their ultimate goal is, usually not go to Alabama or go to college and graduate and go into the business world, or some people will say the medical world. I mean, we do know some doctors that are out there, but most of these kids, they want to play in the NFL, and that's kind of their goal when they're in high school. Probably my goal when I was in high school. Yeah, I want to get to the NFL. There was no chance of that happening, but everybody wants to play in the NFL. So what's going to be the best position for him in the future? Does he want to play in the NFL? Does he think that he has a better shot at doing that at tight end? Does he have a better shot at doing that at outside linebacker? And those are some questions that will be answered once he gets to campus, whether that's at Alabama or whether that's somewhere else.
Certainly. This staff makes sure the degrees, his players know the degrees are important, but a lot of these players come in with the aspirations to go play in the NFL. This is certainly a guy that we could see on Sundays one day. We could see him at tight end, like you said. Let's kind of, the rest of this video, talk about the rest of the tight end group around the country. Some wide receivers as well, kind of where things stand. We talked about Oscar Delp a little bit yesterday. I had the chance to see him play last week. But, overall, how are the tight ends and the wide receivers looking right now?
Yeah, I think with tight end, Alabama was extremely impressed with Elijah Brown this past weekend. He's on the commitment board already, and very solid commitment, and nothing to really worry about there. When you take these early commitments on guys that you haven't seen before, it's a little nerve-wracking because you're hoping that you're making the right decision. And then Elijah Brown shows up to Tuscaloosa this past weekend, works out for the Tide, and they were extremely impressed. He's certainly a guy that they're very excited about, somebody that they're happy is on their commitment list, and somebody that they're happy they took an early commitment from. So, very good commitment right here. And Elijah Brown could easily see his stock go up even more, probably in the top 5 tight ends in the country when all is said and done. Oscar Delp visited a few weeks ago. I'm not sure if he's going to visit again. He's taken some official visits this month. Alabama was kind of on that outside looking in prior to the summer. Now, they made a big move with him when he came in for that visit earlier this month. But as of right now, I'm still kind of leaning towards him ending up at Georgia. But they had another tight end on campus this weekend and one on Monday. Jaleel Skinner took an official visit to Alabama this past weekend. 6'5", about 215 pounds. More of a receiving threat type of tight end. He's visiting Texas right now for an official. Probably going to make a decision in the next a month or so. But certainly somebody that I feel like Alabama has done a great job recruiting. And let me be clear: Amari Niblack might commit to Alabama on Thursday. That does not rule out Alabama taking another tight end. Like I said, it needs to be very crystal clear. Niblack is, being recruited as an athlete. So Alabama's still involved with other tight ends, still going after other tight ends. So Jaleel Skinner, certainly somebody that they like a lot. They're going to continue to recruit. We mentioned Oscar Delp, but another guy, Mason Taylor, came to Alabama's camp. Now he's the son of former Miami Dolphin Jason Taylor, who played for Coach Saban with the Dolphins and coaches at St. Thomas Aquinas. He's a tight end. Had a really good showing out Alabama's camp on Monday. Earned that offer from the Crimson Tide. I think he measured in at 6'4.5", about 228 pounds. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on over the course of the next few months. He's going to make a decision towards the end of the summer, and definitely somebody that we could easily see in Alabama's class. But yeah, as far as tight ends go, continuing to watch Jaleel Skinner, continuing to watch Oscar Delp and Mason Taylor.
All are big-time prospects, and all of these players that you just mentioned would be big gets for Alabama, and it could start as early as tomorrow with Amari Niblack. A bit of a quicker recruiting update this morning. For Andrew Bone, my name is Trianity. We appreciate you guys being here. Go to BamaInsider.com. Check out the recruiting big board. Check out articles from writers like Tony Sukalis and the rest of our staff. Hit our YouTube page up as well. Check out more recruiting videos like this. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know your thoughts in the comment box. We really appreciate you guys being here and supporting all things Crimson Tide football. Amari Niblack, set to make his commitment tomorrow. We'll keep you updated on BamaInsider.com. Have a great rest of the day, everybody. Roll Tide.